My partner and I decided to buy a 25-year-old caravan so we can road trip around Australia with our dog. We have done a bunch of road trips before across the country, but this is our first caravan, so we're really, really excited. Intimidated, but excited. We bought the caravan off Facebook Marketplace after looking for, honestly, probably about 3 years. And so naturally, being 25 years old, this had the classic early 2000s boomer vibe. Unfortunately, not the cute, whimsical beach shack 2000s that I honestly probably would have kept. This was more just really standard caravan from 2001. I would say going into this renovation, I have pretty realistic goals. I'm not someone who has ever been able to achieve a perfect aesthetic with the projects I work on. I'm kind of more of a this is cute and it's good enough kind of person. I know when I was looking for YouTube videos for how to renovate the caravan, everything relied really heavily on ordering things off Shein or Temu and all those kinds of places. Not much of it was homemade from scratch, or it was homemade from scratch to the degree where I just don't have those skills. So consider this a very realistic DIY project. So far, the biggest changes we've made are to the curtains and to the couches, so the upholstery. The caravan came with shears and block-out curtains, and so I wanted to just recreate that, but with fabrics that felt more modern and cutesy and just felt homey. I went to Spotlight and I ended up picking out this sheer floral fabric, and I really liked the colors, especially when the light shines through it. And then turns out they had quite a bit of block-out fabric, and I ended up picking this blue because it kind of matched the blue in the floral fabric. This was a really easy, simple sewing project. I pretty much just sewed a big square with a top section that was big enough that I could thread the bar through. While I was doing all this DIY, I was watching a lot of van life videos, and I wish I could remember who did it, but someone out there had put a trim on their curtains in their caravan, and it looked so pretty. I just had to do the same thing. So I looked at the shears and picked a color from that, which was this pale yellow, and then it got a little pom-pom trim to attach to the block-out curtains, which I think turned out really nice and just kind of finished that off. And yes, these ones are uneven. It's fine. I'm going to fix them. The pelmets do cover the top of the curtains, thankfully, and I have reupholstered them using the same fabric that I picked out for the couch cushions, just using a staple gun, which looks scary, but it's actually pretty fun to use. It became my favorite craft tool pretty quickly. We haven't gone back and attached the pelmets yet, honestly, because I can't figure out how. Highly recommend when you're pulling things apart in the caravan, really pay attention to how things were attached, because if you remove them, all of a sudden you can't remember how they go back on. Thankfully, my partner's pretty handy. I'm sure he'll figure it out, but for right now, that's a later job. But they do look really nice, and I'm excited for the pelmets to go on and tie everything together. This is probably a good time to mention the bedding. So because we have a black dog, I would usually go for a dark bedspread, but because the caravan is so small and kind of dark sometimes, I ended up picking this yellow. And yes, it does show quite a bit of dirt because Luna, our Labrador, her hair is black, and you're coming in off the beach or you've been out on the red dirt. But you know what? The caravan needs cleaning really often, and so it's a good visual reminder to keep the place clean. And behind the bed is my favorite window in the whole caravan. When you wake up and you can look out the window at a beautiful view, it's a really magical thing. And so to celebrate that and also provide a bit of separation between the bedroom zone and the living space, I decided to put a patchwork curtain behind the bed. And I do think it breaks up some of the continuous pattern of all the curtains being the same, and it looks really pretty when the light shines through. This took a lot of extra time, slowly piecing together all the little scrap fabrics, because I did just use stuff that I had in my sewing kit, but I think it was worth it, and it looks really cute. Now, once the curtains and the bedding was done, I had literally no excuses to put off doing the couches, which was something that really intimidated me. I've never reupholstered anything before. I'd done the pelmets by this point, but that was just nothing compared to the couches. We ended up picking this kind of forest earthy green color. The couch cushions were a little bit easier. I made elastic covers that I could just pull over the cushions. I liked this option because I wanted to be able to remove them, to wash them, and also I don't know how to attach zippers yet, so this seemed like a good option. It was a little bit of a challenge because the curtains are really weird shapes, so I essentially just watched some videos about how to make square cushion covers and just adapted it to the triangles. Honestly, it was a bit of trial and error, but I figured it out in the end. Believe in yourself. It is a daunting task, but at the end of the day, the caravan kind of sits like a toy house outside of the house. If I mess it up, I don't have to live with my mistakes right away. I can keep fixing them, as opposed to when we've done DIY on the house where you have to live in the space that you have effectively destroyed. So if you're struggling with the couch cushions or anything to do with your caravan, just like push through. You're going to need to be inventive because caravans are just weird. A big lesson for me has been to make something and then take it into the caravan to actually test it out, because often I won't have gotten it right on the first try, or there'll be something I didn't notice before. And so that trial and error is like really important in the process. The back of the couches were by far the scariest part of this project so far. It took me so long to figure out how to get them off the frame. Turns out there's just these little hidden screws that you can undo, and then it was just a matter of restapling the new fabric to the boards. Hot tip, if you are doing this, get more fabric than you think you need. The amount of fabric you need to like create that B shape where you've got to push the fabric into the middle, staple that down, and still wrap it around the bottom, it takes way more material than you initially think. And I had to go back to Spotlight so many times, like multiple times in a day, and it's always really embarrassing because the staff do recognize you. So just get more than you think you need. We've had this set up for a couple of months now. We've tested it for a week over Christmas and it worked really well. There's something to be said about caravans being really annoying to tow and bring along. Like, yeah, it is just impractical. However, the ability to have a home-like space while you're traveling, especially if you're someone who wants to go on longer trips, or you have a family, or like we have a dog. We also like the idea of being able to work on the road. Having a caravan is just so much nicer. Obviously, budget is a huge thing. Like, it took us ages to find one in our price range, and then we've had to, buy materials to upcycle it essentially. But I do think if you are debating the caravan, don't let the boomer energy put you off. Like, I think it can be a really good option for young people as well. Obviously, we've not finished yet. This is just kind of a point that we're happy with for the moment. We want to remove the carpets. Don't know who decided carpets should go in caravans. I think it's a terrible idea. So the carpets we want to rip out, which means that we kind of want to redo the whole flooring, probably with lino, but I don't know how to replace that yet. So that's on the to-do list later. On top of that, it would be really nice to do something with the walls to jazz it up. I don't know whether to do wallpaper, paint, or like a vinyl. So if you've done any of those projects before, please drop me a comment and offer any advice that you have, because I absolutely need it. So yeah, I hope this video helps anyone else out there taking on a similar project. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, all that stuff that YouTubers tell you to do, because I'm just starting out and also haven't made a video like this before. So I'd love to know if you enjoyed it. If you want to see more caravanning content, I would love to make some vlogs of our travels if we ever get there. I can totally see why boomers end up waiting till retirement age to do this kind of activity. A, buying the caravan itself is expensive if you're going to buy like a flash one, and B, the leave that you have to take to travel across Australia is a lot, and it's taking us a while to save up enough leave to do that. But we will get there. And yeah, if you enjoy this content, I can certainly make more of it. Thank you so much for watching. I have thoroughly enjoyed talking about this today, and I will see you in the next video.